Listen to Downtown Hot Radio on the air 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
You're now tuned into the Real Rap Radio Show. I'm your host, Walil Archer. On Downtown Hot Radio, I have a special guest. I have a new author, Richard Allen. How you doing today?
I'm fine, Walil. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Thanks for joining me today. So let's talk about your book. Let the listeners know the name of your book.
The name of my book is Kobo, Kobo, and it's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and Kindle and soon to be on audible.com. And it's a story about human beings as pets of alien creatures in very similar circumstances as our pets. These aliens are 9 feet tall as 9 feet tall, but they're comparable to human intelligence and technology. And several thousand years before, they discovered this abandoned colony of humans on a planet near our part of the galaxy. And when they were exploring that part of the galaxy, and these humans were descendants of space travelers who had crashed and over 1,000 years or so had reverted to very primitive conditions. And so these aliens, these grobs, when they found them, they took about 1,000 of them back to their own planet as pets, because humans made good pets. But the humans and the grobs can't communicate because the grobs vocalize in a very low rumble, and the humans to the grobs vocalize in a high squeaking noise. So the humans are raised without language, without culture, without human community. And that's what the basis of my story is. My wife and I have had dogs, Labrador retrievers, for many decades. And I'd often thought, what would we humans be like if we were in similar circumstances? Would we sleep 20 hours a day? Would we get excited 2 times a day when we get our bowl of kibble? So I decided I'd write a story on that question. The question really explores what is the essential nature of humanity and what makes us different from other animals. So my story starts out with Kobo, who's a 14-year-old pet of these two kindly grobs who were kind of reptilian characters with trunks. But he's a pampered pet of these grobs. And when he becomes mature, sexually mature, they bring in a female of around the same age, whom he calls Ra, and it follows their story. So that's the basic story. Shall I go on?
Okay, that's fine. Now,
Yeah.
How did you come up with that title?
I just random title, something that wasn't used. Simple, because these humans they have some interaction with other humans. Their owners take them to the human park where they play with other humans, and humans communicate in very basic, almost monosyllabic ways. And so Kobo is one of his human friends gave him the name Kobo, and he calls his friend Bobo. And when his owners get the female, he gives her this one syllable name Ra, and so that's basically it. eventually, these humans discover an artifact that was brought back by these grobs to their own planet. Their own planet is some 20,000 light years from Earth. It's close to the center of the galaxy. Um, and so the grobs brought back these artifacts, which are these round green stones, sort of the size and shape of a football. And it turns out that these are teaching devices that humans had developed to teach their space pioneers children basic language and lessons. And so Ra finds one of these stone, or the grobs, their grobs buy one of these artifacts, which they put on their curio collection as a gem. And Ra one day picks it up and it starts to glow, and a female face appears and starts to teach her. And she and Kobo, over the next several years, learn to speak English, and they learn to read and write, and they learn basic arithmetic, and they learn some history, hiding their knowledge and their use of this stone from their owners. So they develop language, and as a result, they begin to question their own circumstances and whether things could be better or not. And then eventually, by trial and error, they don't know anything about sex. They don't know, but by trial and error, they have a child. And after a year, their grobs sell the child as we would sell our puppies. And the two human parents, Kobo and Ra, are depressed and for several years, but eventually they kind of get over it, and they have another child, Na, a female, and that which the grobs let them keep for 3 years. But then they sell Na to other grobs, and that precipitates Kobo. He goes into a fit of anger and he attacks his owner with a knife. And as a result, he gets shipped off. He gets sold to Consolidated Minerals and shipped off to their mines in another planet in that system, to where he works as a underground as a slave in the mine. And I won't go into too much more detail, but eventually Ra, she escapes and is caught and eventually sent off to this same planet. And in this planet, there's a group of humans who've escaped from the grobs and are in hiding in old mine shafts from the grobs. And Kobo eventually comes across this group of humans, one of whom, the leader of this group, is a charismatic old woman. And she had one of these stones and learned how to speak and learned human knowledge and history. Anyway, so the story continues with this human community that they come across, and Kobo eventually finding Ra, and I won't give you the rest of the story. But anyway, that's basically it.
That was good insight.
It's a great story.
Yeah, that was great insight. Now, what do you want the readers to take away from when they read in this book?
I'd like them to think about the questions I wrote the book to explore. Basically, what makes us human? What makes us different from animals? Would we be like our pets if we were raised in similar circumstances? And also to think about the effect of language and the need for language that I think humans have a basic need for communication that other animals don't have, at least to the same degree. So those are the questions I want. And I also want them to take away memories of a fun story, an exciting story.
Okay. Now, when writing
And
this book, did you receive writer's block? And if so, how did you overcome it?
from time to time, I mean, I'm not a professional writer, although I've written for pleasure for a long time. My career has been as a lawyer in Washington, D.C. Um, and most of the writing I've done over my career is writing legal briefs and memorandum. Um, but I read a lot and I enjoy writing. I've always enjoyed writing. Um, but I'm not a professional. I don't get up in the morning and devote 3 or 4 hours to my writing if I had to make a living at it. I just do it when the moment um, capture moves me, and when my wife doesn't have me doing other things. So anyway,
And how many chapters do you have in your book?
I think there may be 50 some chapters,
Okay,
but I've recently published a sequel to it,
nice.
Kobo's Children, which I personally like even better. Although I think both of them are good books, but the sequel follows Ra on this other planet, Loma, um, and her community. She becomes the head of her community, and Kobo has died, but his children are alive. Children from Ra and another human, female human. Um, and so it follows Ra and this other human community, and Ra gets abducted by this wild human who's been roaming around, uh, and he abducts her, and he's kind of a noble savage human, but very talented. He was hunted back on the Grob's planet. He was hunted by Grobs for sport, um, and so it follows her, and eventually Na is brought by her owner, this female Grob, to this second planet, and eventually Ra and Na link up, and so that story develops from that. There's a rebellious faction in their community, and Ra has to contend with that, and then eventually, towards the end of the book, a spaceship from Earth, now 20,000 light years away, uh, comes across this planet, and they've got drones out there taking pictures, and suddenly they come across this group of humans out there with bows and arrows, um, and they have to decide: are they going to? And they figure out that this planet is dominated by these alien creatures, and so they have to figure out whether they're going to make themselves known to the humans on this planet, and also to the Grobs, or just leave. So that's kind of the dilemma in that story. Um, anyway, they're both fun to write,
Nice.
and I'm working on a third sequel when they all go
Okay.
back to Earth, 20,000 light years away.
Okay. Now, what was the most memorable moments when writing the book?
Um, you mean right? I can't really say because I wrote it over a space of 3 or 4 years, uh,
Okay.
and it's hard to say what the most memorable moment in the book. I think is perhaps Kobo's attack on his owner. And the other memorable moment is when Ra delivers her first child. You know, she knows nothing about childbirth. She doesn't know anything of what it's all about. And suddenly she has this big stomach, and it starts to kick her from the inside. And she thinks there's some alien creature in her trying to fight its way out. And then uh, there's a scene where she has taken to the vet to have her child delivered, and this blob of bloody meat comes out, and you know, I think that's a pretty dramatic scene. Anyway,
Okay. And where can they purchase your book yet again?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Kindle. You can read it on your Kindle. Um, Also, the Dorrance bookstore. I should have said that first. my publishing company is called Dorrance Publishing, and they have a bookstore, which is an online bookstore, and you can order it there or you can order it on Amazon. But anyway, my publishers are, and the second book is done by another publishing company, and they're both keeping me very busy promoting my book. But it's fun at my age to have a sort of a second career.
Now, for an aspiring author, what advice would you give them when it comes to writing a book?
Well, I write the books I've written, and I've written a number of screenplays, and I've written another novel, which is an historical novel. I've written because I was particularly interested in the subject matter. I didn't write them because I sat down and say, well, I want to be a famous author and I'm going to write a book. I waited until I had something in mind that I thought this would make a great story. So I guess my advice to authors would be, don't strain to find a story to make up. Just wait until something inspires you.
Great advice. And as we begin to close out, any final thoughts or closing remarks?
No, but I hope your readers will buy my book, and if you like it, write some good reviews, and buy the sequel.
There you go. Well, thank you again, Richard Allen. Appreciate you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me, Walil. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. So that's my time today on the Real Rap Radio Show. And I'll see you guys next time on the Real Rap Radio Show with your host, Walil Archer on Downtown Hott Radio. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Listen to Downtown Hott Radio on the air 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Tune in by downloading the Downtown Hott Radio's mobile app. Listen on our website, www.downtownhottradio.com.